Hello students, in this module I'll be talking about the structure of an anatropous ovule and also we'll be talking about the first part of the VS of a mature ovule. So look, listen and learn. Now look behind me. What do you see? Oh, a beautiful part of the flower which is called as the gynoecium. Now right behind me are the anthers, but at the tip what you see is the female reproductive whorl which is called as the gynoecium. And if you remember, gynoecium is made up of individual members and these individual members are called as carpel. You got that right. Is that okay? Now if I look at a single carpel, I must remember from the previous module that it is made up of three basic parts. Right on the top there, what you see is the stigma. You got that right. You remember stigma was sticky because it is that place where the pollen is received. Is that okay? So stigma is the terminal part of the carpel which is sticky and rough and it receives the pollen and also helps in the germination of the pollen. In the center is a tube-like structure which is called as the style. You got that right. Yes? Now style basically connects the stigma with the base of the carpel, right? And the style is a tubular structure. It is narrow, it is elongated, and it connects the stigma to the base, which is also called as the ovary. So this next structure is the ovary. The ovary is the base of the carpel. It is swollen and it is fertile. So I can also say that the ovary is the swollen, fertile base of the carpel which will enclose either one or many ovules in it. So what you see here in the ovary is the ovule. So let us now understand what is an ovule. So what you see behind me right now is a beautiful structure of an ovule. Is that okay? Now remember, an ovule by definition is an integumented megasporangium that is found in seed-bearing plants. Is that okay? Which means you will find ovules in gymnosperms. You'll also find ovules in angiosperms. Absolutely correct. Now this kind of ovule which you see in the picture here is also called as orthotropous ovule. And why is that? Because if you look at the base which is called as the stalk and the main bulk which is called as the body, it is upright. And that is why this ovule is called as orthotropous ovule. But if you look at angiosperms, you must remember in most angiosperms, this is what an ovule would look like. What you are seeing here once again is basically what? An angiospermic ovule, where what you see here is the stalk. But look at that body. How does it look? It just looks as though the body is inverted. Is that right? So the body of the ovule is inverted and it leaves an opening down there which is called as the micropyle. Right? And when the micropyle lies very close to the stalk, yes, it is called as an anatropous ovule. Remember, in most angiosperms, ovule is anatropous ovule. In simple words, it is an inverted ovule. And what does the ovule do? The ovule performs the function of megasporogenesis, and also after that in the ovule you will basically see development of the female gametophyte. Is that okay? Moving on. What you see once again right here is a structure of the VS of anatropous ovule. VS meaning vertical section. So if I take an ovule and I cut it vertically and I look under the microscope, this is how it will appear. You can very well see in this structure that the ovule is inverted, and that's why it is anatropous ovule. Now what are the two main parts of an ovule? You know there is a stalk. Is that okay? So there you see, that's the stalk of the ovule, right? And the next part is called as the body of the ovule. Now let us see what does the stalk really do. Now the stalk has got a name. It is called as funicle. Is that okay? It can also be called as funiculus. Is that okay? So you should know that funicle or funiculus is both alternate names for the stalk of the ovule. Right? Now remember that if it is the stalk, it is going to attach the ovule to a fertile tissue in the ovary called as placenta. You learned that last year. Next, you should know that a stalk basically possesses a vascular strand and it supplies nutrition and nourishment to the body of the ovule. Is that okay? And finally, you should know that the part of the ovule, right, which is attached to the body is called as the raphe. Is that okay? Moving on. Let us look at the body. Now, the body of the ovule is the swollen tip of the funicle and it is known as the body of the ovule. Now, if you look at the body, remember the funicle is attached to the basal part of the body at a place called as hilum. Is that okay? And the body of the ovule has got several parts that we'll be discussing in the next modules. And these are namely nucellus, chalaza, integuments, micropyle, and finally the embryo sac. So in the next modules, we'll be looking at most of these parts and study them also. Right? So in this module, I have talked about the structure of anatropous ovule, how it is inverted. In this module, I also talked about the first part of the mature ovule, VS. In the next module, I'll be talking about the second part of the VS of a mature ovule. Till then, thank you and take care.